This one was suggested by Queen Snarf, and it is the Molduga medley from Breath of the Wild. Let's go. Once through, at least until it loops, and then again for analysis. Let's do it. Okay, got some bongo loops. Staccato strings. That's like a cello. It's on one side. It's just very intense right now, with very little going on, just like a very fast bongo loop in those strings. And some like hi-hats or tambourine or something. Just hitting like fours. Okay, now it's moving around more. Ooh, okay. Okay, it's definitely like playing up and down. It's playing up and down what like the roots are doing, basically. That little stab. I love that. Ah, more melody now. It's a very slidey, like, fiddle violin sound. And there's that major chord. So it's got a little bit of that like double harmonic major flavor I'm hearing, but it doesn't stick to that, right? Very folksy violin solo thing here. Yeah. Yeah, that's very double harmonic major E. I have a feeling we're going to be hearing a lot of that scale. Oh, we've modulated. Sort of. It was actually just a change. Chord change. Yeah, then we get back into that staccato cello line. Percussion's building. Yeah, and then there's those stabs again. I think we've looped. Dun, 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 dun. God. Strings come back? Yep. Okay, so yeah, we've looped by now. All right. So I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna talk about things now that we're in loop territory. Let's go back and do some analysis.
Okay, but before we break that down, let me tell you something. I don't have a sponsor for this video. My efforts are funded by generous contributions from viewers like you through Patreon. If you want to see more of this and you want to hear more of my stuff than anybody else can right now, go to case.dog/join or click that link up in the card and become a Moonling. That's where you get to hear my unreleased music, get access to a VIP chat in my Discord where I post the evolution of my tracks as I work on them. You can get the master stems to my 100 plus songs that I've put out. And there's tiers where you can see your name in a lower third in the video, which you're about to see. Thanks for listening. And yeah, I do have blue hair now. Back to the video.
Okay, so right off the bat, we're doing that thing. This is a very common boss music kind of motif, right? Where you have your root, I think we're in F sharp, and you jump between this, a half step up, and then the minor seventh of the root. And you just, a lot of boss music does that because it's intimidating. And because of where those notes are laid out, these two intervals are like a major interval apart, so like you can have one thing going and you can have another thing going. And so they both like fill out a chord, right? So if you have like a root and you have those like intervals around it, it's a no-brainer to like do something where you jump between all of them, right? So that's what we start with. And we just do that for a while. Yeah, and then we start walking up fifths. So it's just, if you played power chords on those two intervals, the cello's just running up the intervals of that. Like so. Then we just start pedaling on that F sharp. Okay, and then so it sounds like what we do is jump up to the actual 2, not the half step. We jump up an actual full step to its natural 2, right? And it sounds like it jumps up to 5. Okay, we go 5 and then 4, and then I think we go back down. So far, harmonically, we've done some like dissonant kind of boss music kind of stuff where we rely on half steps and the minor seventh. And when this thing starts to move like chords wise, when it does some scale function stuff, we're hitting 5 and 4, which are the closest intervals to 1 in terms of like stability, right? Okay, then the staccato cello line gets even more intense. So we have so that's also jumping around 1 and 4 and 5, right? 1, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 4, 1, right? So we're playing it pretty safe so far. And it sounds like where we go after that is 6. When we jump up to 6, though, we start doing the intervals of like a sus2 chord rather than the 4, right? Rather than the sus4 of the last one. So that's, okay, so now we're doing a 1-6. And then we go down to 4. And then back up to 6. And then we end on 5, right? Which is gonna take us right back down to F sharp. But we don't actually go right back to it. We go to that half step above the root note, the flat second, right? Which is what we were playing with in the beginning, right? So we have that's our full like chord motion right now, right? Very big, epic kind of stuff with some spicy flavor notes thrown in so far. It sounds like we're rocking between the... Sounds like we're rocking between this and its half step, kind of like jumping between intervals of those on the cello there. And it sounds like when it jumps down, it's either doing a 6 or it's doing a half step up. It's like that. And then we're doing this thing from the intro. It's doing that. So when the strings enter, when the rest of the strings enter, rather, what is the bass underneath it? I think it's still playing the same parts, right? So we do like this 1-5 thing up here, just from the root. So that's just a 5, and then do the same like 1-5 from the D, which is like the 6 down, and then we do a 1-4 on from the 5th of our root. So that just spells out the full power chord of the root, right? Yeah, and then we do this, that goes down to the minor 7, which is what it was vamping on earlier. And it lands on that half step up from the root. So we get that spice in there, right? And we get like these swells of the strings in the background doing like a... So then it moves up to the natural 2, right? What do the strings do over that? Right? So we have this kind of thing going on, which this says it's a G sharp flat 3 sharp 5. I don't think that's true. That's definitely a 6, right? But and I hear that kind of thing going. It sounds like when it does it here, it moves up to the 2 and then moves back down to that flat 2. And when we land back on that F sharp, it's major, right? Even though we were using like minor 7s and stuff before, something that I think is pretty prominent with like desert music is that moving between the major 1 and the major flat 2, right? That's sort of what the double harmonic major scale is built around, right? We're getting a little bit of that flavor. It's very sparing, right? Like Like that kind of thing you can chalk up to this being boss music. But it doesn't, like, it's being very sparing with the double harmonic, the Byzantine scale, you know? Yeah, and then the cello under it is doing like the vamping that it was doing before. And I think, and the melody is just kind of going off here, right? What I already noticed about that I'm not going to try to learn the entire violin melody. I would be here all day, but what I'm noticing about that is it's not using that flat second. It's sticking to that minor scale, right? So, and I think like some of the interplay, boss music does this sometimes, but it's also sort of like a deserty thing. When you have something that's very minor on the one, and then you make it major when you come back to the one, right? And we do totally play the major interval when it goes down to the half step too, which further cements that desert feel, right? Okay, and then when it's doing those stabs, it's doing something like that. Again, staying on the mostly minor intervals of that. And then it goes back to... Yeah, and then this part is very, very desert music. It sounds like it's using a minor third there, because I don't think it's going... which would be typical, right? So it's definitely rooting us. Yeah. Does it do that? Yeah. Yeah. It does it again an octave up. Yeah. Then I think that spits us back into... Just pedaling on that F sharp. Yeah. And then I think from there it loops back. Yeah. But I think that's pretty much the whole song, right? We're getting like a lot of the boss music flavor in this, with a little tiny bit of the desert level cliches, right? That melody right there just kind of is the most deserty thing about it. And also the fact that it does this. It has that chord in there while also having that chord that it returns to. Very desert theme, very double harmonic major. It uses the double harmonic major sparingly. It doesn't rely on it for all of its like harmonic function. It stays in minor, it stays in F sharp minor through a lot of it. And a lot of the melodies will also use F sharp minor. But when it goes to one of them spicy chords, so we're definitely selling like that kind of thing. I think that's cool. I like the vibe of this. This has been a good warm-up song. It's very simple. Most of it is just the cello and the percussion, right? The strings that come in are also pretty sparse. There's just like 2 string melodies that kind of swell in. Occasionally there's some like more chords that swell in, but it's giving you a taste of the desertness, right? It's giving you just a little bit to have that context of like you're in the desert. And I like this. I know all day yesterday I was given like 4 out of 5s. I think 4 out of 5 tracks that I did yesterday, I gave 4 out of 5s, but you know what? I'm gonna give this one a 4. This one's also a 4. This is a 4 out of 5. Wax and Gibbous for me. It's the Molduga Battle from Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild that was suggested by Queen Snarf in the chat. Thank you for that suggestion.
All right, how do you think I did? If you like the analysis, hit like. If you want to see more stuff like this in the future, hit subscribe and the bell to make sure you see when new videos go up. Let me know what you think. Is there anything you think I missed or glossed over? Let me know in the comments. I would love the feedback. I'll see you next time.